Hi, I'm Alexandra, but everyone calls me Alex. I've always been a very curious girl, and one day my parents gave me a cool idea. Alex, you're great at sticking your nose in other people's business. You'll make a fine journalist one day. Mom might have been joking, but I love the idea. Soon after that, I set up a school news website and became its first correspondent. I need to find something amazing to report on. That was easier said than done. I realized that nothing interesting ever happened at our school, so there was nothing I could write about. I was sitting in the locker room after gym class, lost in thought. What kind of journalist am I if I don't have a story to tell? All the other girls had already changed their clothes and left. I was about to follow them when I saw Linda. She was a goth, and only ever wore black clothes. So gloomy and mysterious. But now that she thought she was alone in the locker room, she took off her sweater, and I saw she was wearing a pink t-shirt with Disney princesses on it underneath. Wow, was all that menacing makeup just armor that Linda used to hide her gentle soul? Now that would make a splash. I sneakily took a photo of Linda, quickly wrote an article about her, and posted it on my website. What happened next blew my mind. My classmates loved the article. They all read it, discussed it, and laughed. I instantly rose to fame, and the whole school subscribed to my website. I was so proud I could burst, and felt like a real journalist. Then someone tapped me on the shoulder. It was my friend, Irene. Congrats on your first success. Harry came up to me next. Seeing his perpetually frowning face always ruined my mood. Alex, since you have an audience now, you should tell them about the problems at our school. For example, the faucet in the bathroom has been leaking for 2 months now. Do you seriously think anyone wants to read about that? Journalists should cover important issues. Anyone can write nonsense. You aren't a real journalist yet, so don't be so full of yourself. I wanted to argue with Harry, but then our principal, Mr. Reed, interrupted us. He liked my news website. He even said I could skip some extra classes to have some more time for writing new articles. Keep entertaining your classmates, Alex. Mr. Reed complimented me and left. I jokingly stuck my tongue out at Harry. Take that. Even the principal thinks I'm a real journalist. It's important to stay relevant if you want to be famous. As soon as the next day, I started searching for a new story. I didn't have to look for long. There was a guy called Phil at our school. He was a typical bad boy, and by that I mean he had tattoos and rode a skateboard. Everyone was afraid of and respected that daredevil. Anyway, I managed to find out that all the tattoos on that troublemaker were fake. Can you believe it? Of course, I immediately wrote an article about it. It was a huge success. Everyone at school was laughing again as they discussed the latest news. Turns out Phil isn't all that cool. I was on cloud 9 until I saw Harry's gloomy face again. Oh, what was it now? Alex, did you know that the school next to ours got top-end computers? The ones we use are ancient. You should write about it on your website. That's too boring. No one wants to know about that. I'll write of something else. You're gonna write about some nonsense again. He scowled and stormed past me. That guy had a talent for ruining my mood. My next article was about Amelia. She was the most beautiful girl at our school and told everyone she didn't do anything to look that good. My skin is so perfect, I don't need makeup at all. I exposed that liar and told everyone that Amelia's so-called natural beauty was actually the result of masterful use of makeup. Amelia became a laughingstock after everyone read that article, but I didn't feel guilty at all. Journalists were supposed to tell the truth. I hadn't done anything wrong. At recess, Harry came up to me again and waved a burger in front of my face for some reason. It smelled like dirty socks. Look at this. The meat in the dining room is rancid. You should use your news website to tell everyone about it. Geez, for the millionth time, that's too boring. Is that so? I'm going to investigate all the problems at our school by myself then. Do whatever you want, just leave me alone. Harry seemed to be pouting when he walked past me. It was time to look for a new scoop. To my disappointment, nothing interesting happened at school that day. Everyone was waiting for my new article. The more scandalous, the better. I trudged home after spending hours trying to find something to write about with no success. That's when I finally got lucky. I saw Phil on my way home. He was riding in a limo with a personal driver. Can you imagine? I couldn't figure out where he got the money for that. My journalistic instinct was telling me it was suspicious. I had to get to the bottom of it. So I got on my bike and followed the limo. It stopped next to a stunning mansion in a rich neighborhood. Phil got out of the car and was about to walk through the gate, but I stopped him. Phil, wow, are you a freaking millionaire? Alex? Oops, you got me. He told me his father had recently won a lottery and asked me to keep it a secret. Dad asked me to keep quiet about being rich. He's afraid our greedy relatives will show up and ask to borrow some money. I wanted to jump for joy. Awesome, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Oh no, no one can know about this or Dad will ground me forever. I'm sorry, but my duty as a journalist is to tell people the truth. Phil started shaking like a leaf and pulled a briefcase out of the limo. Can I buy your silence? Phil opened the case and I saw that it was full of bills. Just looking at so much money took my breath away. Wow. Here's the deal. I give you this briefcase and you keep your mouth shut. What do you say, Alex? It was nuts. I'd never seen so much money because my family was very poor. I decided it was a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Refusing would be a huge mistake. mistake. Okay, deal. Wonderful. If anyone finds out about my secret, I'll take it all back. Got it? Sure. I ran home and hid the briefcase under my bed and started to dream about all the things I could buy now that I owned a fortune. A sports car maybe, or a yacht? No, I know. I should travel around the world. I made a list of ideas, but none of them seemed quite right. I wanted to spend that money on something really important and meaningful. I just didn't know what it was yet. The next morning, everyone at school kept asking me about my next scoop. Even the principal hinted that I hadn't published anything in a while. I was tempted to tell everyone Phil's secret, but the fear of losing money was stronger, so I kept my mouth shut as promised. At recess, Amelia told everyone our history teacher had been fired due to a lack of funding. The administration apparently couldn't afford to pay him salary anymore. That was so dumb. We all loved that teacher, so that was a bummer. Let's all chip in and buy him a parting gift. It was a great idea, and everyone agreed. I have $5. I've got 2. Sorry, but I've got nothing. I choked with indignation. Since when was Phil so greedy? What the heck? Aren't you a million? I quickly put my hand over my mouth and realized I'd almost broken my promise. Phil glared at me. I meant to say it's okay, Phil. I'll chip in for you. That was close. I realized that keeping that secret was going to be much harder than I thought. The next day, Linda was the one who told us about a new problem at recess. I've got bad news for you guys. This year, we won't be able to take part in the city's independent movie contest because the school equipment is too old. I wish someone would sponsor us and buy us a new camera. Yes, it's a shame none of us are rich. I wanted to slap the living daylights out of him when I heard that. Phil had so much money he could have bought us an entire studio. I gave him a pointed look and hinted at his greed. If one of us was rich but wanted to keep it a secret, they could donate some money anonymously. No, they really couldn't. Anyway, you have a big mouth. Watch it. Everyone who heard our fight stared at me, confused. Alex, I have a feeling that you know something you're not telling us. That's right, you know everything that happens at school. Out with it. My heart sank when I realized how close I was to losing the money I got paid for my silence. I had no choice but to lie. Easy, guys. I found out something huge, but you need to wait for my new article to read about it. Everyone looked at me with suspicion. I said I had to work to get out of there. The article won't write itself. See you tomorrow. I ran home in a panic. Dang it, I wanted to rip my hair out. Now everyone was expecting a big scoop. What was I supposed to write about? Should I tell the truth about Phil? But then my eyes fell on the briefcase full of money. I still wanted to use it for something meaningful, so I had to stay strong and keep quiet. However, I was worried that if I didn't tell Phil's secret to anyone, sooner or later, I would blab about it by accident. My eyes fell on the diary on my table. Now that's a great idea. The diary could keep my secret. I opened it and wrote down everything about my deal with Phil. After that, I instantly felt so much better, like a heavy weight had fallen off my shoulders. As soon as I finished, Irene came over. My friend pouted and glared at me. I thought there were no secrets between us. What are you talking about? Oh, please, you have everyone fooled, but not me. Tell me what you're hiding. My stomach was in knots. I really didn't want to lie to my friend, and I didn't know what to do. Hold on, I'll get us some water and we'll talk. I was only out of the room for a minute, but that was enough for Irene. When I came back, she was holding my diary and grinning. Well, 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 a briefcase full of money, huh? Have you read my diary? Zip it, Alex, I'm talking now. Either you give me part of the money or everyone in town will find out Phil's secret and you'll lose everything. So what will it be? Ugh, it made my blood boil. I'd always known money made people lose all shame, but I hadn't expected my friend to be quite so cold-hearted. It was the worst betrayal ever. Even though I wanted to give Irene a tight slap, I took out a stack of cash and shoved it at Irene. Now I know the price of your friendship. Take this and leave. It's nothing personal, Alex. I just like easy money too. Irene winked at me and left. However, she came back just an hour later. She was like a tiger ready to attack. Did you try to trick me? Why did you give me fake bills? What are you talking about? They're real. Take a closer look at them. She threw the cash at me and slammed the door as she stormed out. I opened the briefcase and looked at the rest of the money. My eyes bugged out. There were words printed on each bill. Smile, you've been pranked. What the what? The money really was fake. The nerve of him. I ran to Phil's mansion as soon as I realized what had happened, but its owner said she had no idea who Phil was. Sorry, girl, but I live here alone. I fell into a stupor, but then I realized I'd only seen the limo drive up to the mansion. I hadn't seen Phil go inside. He made a complete fool out of me. I wanted to corner Phil when I came to school the next morning, but then I saw all my classmates reading something on their phones, laughing and pointing at me. What was going on? Then Amelia, Linda, and Phil came up to me. It's about time you found out the truth. We were sick of the gossip you passed off as serious news, so we decided to repay you in kind. We tricked you into thinking Phil was a billionaire, gave you fake money, and tried to make you spill his secret. But you turned out to be too greedy and kept your mouth shut. So we posted an article on the school website and said you fell for our prank. Everyone had already read it. We got our revenge. You're the talk of the whole school. Having said that, the trio left, laughing. I was furious with my readers, even more so than with those jokers. I thought they were loyal to me, but it turned out they didn't care who to laugh at. Anyway, that pissed me off, and I decided to give up journalism. I went to school and tried not to attract any attention. But then one day, I realized that I hadn't seen Harry in a while. I came to his house after class classes and asked him where he'd been lately. His answer made my jaw drop. It turned out that the principal had expelled him from school. But for what? Remember what I said about the leaky faucet and the rotten food and the ancient computers? I kept digging, and it turned out all those things were connected. Harry found out our principal was lining his pockets and stealing the school's funds. When I found out everything, Mr. Reed went off the rails and kicked me out of school. I thought about our history teacher getting fired and the school equipment falling apart. It all fit together. Our school was lacking funds. The principal praised my website because he wanted to distract the students from real problems with silly gossip. That bastard! We must tell everyone about it. Do you have a plan? Oh, yes. That evening, Harry and I sneaked into school after classes to take some photos. The principal appeared out of nowhere and caught us red-handed. Well, what are you doing here? We're gathering evidence that you are a thief and a scammer. We'll write an article about you and send it to the city newspaper. You'll be fired in no time. The principal's grin immediately slid off his face. He turned pale as paper and called us into his office for a serious conversation. Once we got there, he put a ton of money that he had stolen from our school on the table. You're smart kids. Why don't we make a deal? This is real money. It will be yours if you promise to keep quiet about this. Are you trying to bribe us? I just want us to come to an agreement that would benefit us all. Think about it. Even if they fire me, so what? Someone like me will take my place and nothing will change. This way, the three of us will be set. Harry clearly saw red as he shouted that the truth was not for sale. He was waving his arms around so much that he knocked over the coffee on the principal's table. Mr. Reed's face twisted. Be careful, you'll ruin my new carpet. If this is all you have to say, then get out. I will give this money to the city council and get away with everything. I know some important people. Harry and I quietly left his office. We may have lost the battle, but certainly not the war. A couple of days after that, I came to school and showed my classmates something interesting. Remember when I said I found out something huge? Check this out. I took my phone and showed everyone a video of our principal getting arrested after he came to the city council and tried to bribe them with fake money. I bet you're surprised. Let me tell you what really happened. Harry and I decided that getting the principal fired wasn't going to be enough for us. It was important for us to return the stolen money to the school and punish Mr. Reed. We got caught in his office while taking photos on purpose. After all, we knew that he would not resist and would try to bribe us. Harry distracted the principal by spilling his coffee. Meanwhile, I pulled Phil's fake money out of my backpack and switched it with the money on the table. Mr. Reed didn't notice anything and fell into our trap. I took the real money out of my backpack and showed it to my classmates. I got back the money Mr. Reed stole from us. Everyone burst into applause. For the first time, I saw respect in my classmates' eyes. You're a real journalist, Alex. I'm sorry for our prank. That was mean. That fake money helped me do something important. By the way, I couldn't have done it without Harry. Great news. The money we got back helped save our school. The new principal let Harry come back. This story has a happy ending. I'm still learning how to be a journalist, but I no longer pass off stupid gossip as news. A real journalist is only interested in the truth.